In this video we're going to see the Trangia mini cook set being used out and about. We'll have a closer look at the kit itself and compare some of the weights of the various items contained in it, and generally share some of the positives and negatives of what I think is, broadly speaking, a very good piece of kit. So here's the very quick unboxing. There, it's unboxed. Well, this is how it looks when it's absolutely brand new, but rest assured it won't be looking like this for long. Don't be deterred about this review either, seeing it being unboxed fresh. I have had extensive use of this at this point, and I've cooked everything from pasta to beans in it, which represents my entire variety of diet, unfortunately. On a serious note, this is a good moment to mention what I think is one of the first great benefits and positives of this kit. It's got a really small footprint and this wonderful self-contained design. From my measurements, it's about 15 centimetres across and just under 7 centimetres tall. We'll investigate the weight of these components in just a moment, but right now I want you to hear just how quiet this thing is, and also use this clip as an example to show you how the flow of the alcohol works. I'd say that the very quiet burning sound of this is another positive, but I also wouldn't say it's particularly important. This is a quick run through of the various components and the weights and how they all stack up, and in just a second you'll see the bioethanol fuel that I'm using for these tests and the various examples I've used. You can see I spilt it immediately on my first attempt at filling it, so perhaps this is an indicator of one of the negatives of this. I would say it feels like it would be easy to knock this over while it was lit, and of course the last thing that you need in any outdoor environment, or indoor environment for that fact, is burning fuel spilling anywhere. And if you're taking this out for a prolonged trip, you're going to also need to fetch a container with extra fuel in as well, so again, maybe something to think about there. So just before I put my tatty old boots on and head up into the hills to use it in the field, just want to say I'm really pleased with the weight and the size and everything, but I'm really pleased with the fact that it fits into the side pocket of my Hike Light 26 from Osprey. I'm not sure if this is a slightly different design to the newer ones, but for me that's really handy. Keeps it away from being scratched and worrying about whatever's rubbing against it on the inside of the backpack, which at the moment would be a tripod. I'll let you decide if you think that's a safe place to set the tripod up with my phone to film all this. Fingers crossed. So what we're about to do here is take about 300ml or 1 cup's worth of water, boil that so that I can enjoy a mugshot, and then put about 500ml of the remaining water into the pan to then boil that while I'm enjoying my lovely pasta in a cup. I also want to point out here that they recommend you keep the burner stored in a plastic bag so that it helps to protect the other elements of the kit from corroding. So if you see me not using the bag, that's a mistake and don't trust me. This is a good indicator of how small this kit is. That is 1 cupful, or roughly 300ml of water. I suppose it depends on the size of your cup. And it's almost full, let's be fair there. Now if we skip to this pasta kit, you can see it is very much full there, and that's not even one entire pack of filled supermarket pasta. Look at that, using the old ferro rod there, and got it first time. And look how invisible that flame is here. If I'm being honest right now, my friends, this is almost like I'm inside my own ASMR calm, relaxing video. Look at that, just the slightest hint of the flame in the centre there. Although, as you'll notice now and in other clips, the flame was very much visible. I'm not sure if this was because I was running a little bit low on fuel in there, or if it just burnt itself in and this is how it's always going to be. But either way, I don't view it as a problem, and it's functional and it's working. Now, as you can see, we've got some piping hot boiling water there, and I will say that 300ml right by the river and on a chilly day took 9 minutes, give or take, to boil. Okay, so my first thoughts, that was fantastic. Really nice, almost like say a relaxing experience to do. It was probably boiling a little bit sooner than I realised, but let's say it took 9 minutes to do that 300ml in this temperature and these conditions. Not the worst thing in the world, I'm in no rush, and again, that's not really what it's all about. I'm not speed camping or something. But let's see how much of the remainder of this 700 or so ml I can fill this up with. Yeah, that's probably a capacity of about 500 ml, I'd say there. I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to go overboard and then end up with any situation of it boiling over or anything ridiculous like that. So let's give that a stir, let's get this relit and let's see what happens. So, of course, that slow boiling time, especially at such a low capacity, is going to be a major negative to a lot of people, I'm sure. And even speaking as somebody who, you might have guessed it, loves this kit, I will say that there's times where I wouldn't feel that this was appropriate to use, and I'd rather have a jet boil or even something like a Kelly kettle on hand instead. So, here's the situation. We've got that burning away there. And then our associated accessories are also taking up minimum space. Okay, let's talk about these. So some reviews have said about how flimsy they feel, which is very true. There's no weight to them. But as other reviewers have said, they are perfectly functional. Yeah, there's a little bit of wobble if you shake it around, but obviously you shouldn't be doing that with incredibly hot things. Just look in there, you can see we've got boiling starting. Bit of steam, a few bubbles, let's put it there. Only be another minute or so, I bet. So yeah, and then we'll try picking up that bowl with the 500 ml or so of water in it as well, and just see how strong these feel. After 11 minutes, our 500 ml of water had boiled, so once again, that's a really long time compared to some other systems you could be using for this sort of job. However, once again, look how simple it is. Look at the system to turn it off. Literally just putting the cap on it. Amazing stuff. So anyway, let me share some of my first thoughts out here, and I've only got more glowing and appreciative since then. Okay, first thoughts to that. There's a ridiculous grin that I can almost feel in my muscles on my face because I love this thing. The fact that it's so slow to boil water is obviously the biggest drawback to it, but I'd say for me personally, I hope to never be in a sort of proper survival situations or extreme weather conditions where I would be desperately needing a rapid boiling stove. But if you were going to face those conditions, you'd obviously try and pack appropriately. But for me, especially just down here today, doing a bit of review, having a test out of it, the fact it took 11 minutes to boil 500 ml of water, give or take, yeah, that's not great in terms of speed, but look at where we are. Guess I'll just have to spend 11 more minutes here at the river's edge. And yeah, I really enjoyed that experience. And well, I was just waiting for the 500 ml test and having my little bit of pasta in a cup. Just a lovely, calm experience here. So yeah, I really like that as an experience. And the fact that it is just so simple, so functional, there's not much that can really go wrong with it in terms of like moving parts or piping or anything like that. I really like that. As you've seen, it fits into the side pocket of my current backpack. So again, I can see myself fetching this out almost as a novelty to have something warm just on day trips and days out. So yeah, for that weight, with the fuel included and stuff as well, that you saw before we came out, what was it, like 420 grams, something like that? Really can't fault it. Really, really pleased with this. So yeah, that's 2 massive thumbs up here. Or 2 average thumbs. Here's another little bit of advice. Don't do what you see me do here, which is use the non-stick pan surface as effectively a tray for the direct metal of the other pot. Just to keep that non-stick pan surface safe. And also, you might want to eat somewhere in a far less scary environment than this, where there was shouting and all sorts of noises in the distance and somebody potentially looking for me in the woods. But I'll leave a link to that video in the description. Thank you very much for watching, my friends. I'm going to give this a massive recommendation from me personally. I do use Amazon associate links, so if you buy through those links, I will get a commission, but I am not sponsored by this product or the company in any way, shape or form here. This is literally just me buying this with my own money and using it as I see fit in my real life and camping experience. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and check out my other videos for loads more stuff like this. Until the next time, keep it interesting, keep it tent worthy, have a fantastic day, and of course, farewell. I'd like to quickly thank everybody who's been supporting this channel recently. It's because of you I'm able to buy kit like this and be prepared for my first ever bivvy camp in the extreme close future to this video being published. I'd like to thank some of my recent PayPal supporters, channel members, Facebook subscribers, and super thankers. That's A. Sanford, T. Seymour, The Yacht Captain, Fufarito, David D, and Kaz G. Thank you very much, everybody.